Testing, check, check.
So then you became a captain.
I became a soldier when I came in '75. In '80, they elevated me to position of
Did
captain.
your father know Luciano?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Your friend? Huh?
Yeah, my dad, 102 years old. He's the oldest living mob guy in the world.
Where you
Not only
born, your father?
He was born in 1917.
Yeah.
1917.
Now, when you start figuring out, because you could basically do anything as an earner.
Yeah.
You can make. It's just about how you make the money.
We couldn't get involved in drugs.
Okay.
At that time, we were told straight out, if you get involved with drugs, you die. It was hands off. Now, with guys doing it, they were doing it on the side a little bit, but it was crazy because I seen a lot of guys get killed over it.
Yeah.
Were you and John Gotti associates?
I was friends with John. John and I tell you about John.
Why do we like him so much? No, I'm just talking about the psyche of the society.
Yeah, why is he out there so much?
I think, number one, because he made no bones about who he was. I'm a mob guy. I'm going to die a mob guy. I don't want to be anything else. That's it. So he was true to that. And the way he carried himself, he just, he became a media star, and he kept beating the government, and you know what I mean? But socially, he was great. I had a good times when we'd meet in clubs all the time. Business, he was very hard to deal with, very hard. But, we got along. We had a few scrapes, he and I, but I like him. I like his family. I still know his family.
Were you all locked up at the same time?
Yeah, we were.
Were you locked up in the same place? You see each other, play cards?
We played cards, yeah. We were in MDC together. We were waiting trial. Yeah.
Were you ever locked up with Sammy?
I was, yeah.
In the same place, touching distance? Yeah, what was that like?
I always say this. On John Gotti's worst day, he was a better guy than Sammy.
Yeah.
On his worst day. I mean, I wasn't a fan of his. He had kind of a Napoleon complex, he was a small guy, and he was just very arrogant. So a lot of people didn't get along with him, I mean, he was a different crew than me, but we still didn't get along. But I'll tell you this, Mike, I don't know how you feel about it, but here's a guy that admitted to 19 murders, and the government makes a deal with him and puts him back out on the street. I mean, this is the United States. You're not supposed to do stuff
when they
like
want you, they want you.
Yeah, but, I mean, come on. 19 murders, you make a deal with a guy like that and put him back on the street. And you know what he was doing? Then he got involved in ecstasy in a club that I was involved with on Sunset
Phoenix?
Boulevard. No, the Key Club.
LA? Yeah, I know the Key Club.
You remember the Key Club?
Yeah, Sunset.
I was involved with that, and they were selling ecstasy in the club. He just got out about a year ago, I think.
Oh, Sammy?
Yeah.
He's still here on the street now?
He's out, yeah. Yeah.
Is the idea of, letting a guy like that out, letting him come back to society, is the idea that you're getting something bigger in return? Like, what is the psychology of that system?
They needed Gotti. I mean, they wanted him. He beat them so many times. He was, dumbing his nose in their face, and they wanted him, and they were willing to make a deal with anybody. Really.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I'll tell you what happened in our life. There was a lot of respect. There was also a lot of fear. What happened in our life, when guys on the street started fearing the government more than they were fearing our life, that's when everybody started flipping and turning, and it was unbelievable.
When did that change happen?
Really in the 80s, when they started using that racketeering law. I was in the next cell with Sammy. And I'll never forget, we were in NDC, and we were talking through the air conditioning vent, not air conditioning, whatever it was, in the floor, because you couldn't talk at a wall there. But we were talking, and for some reason he didn't sound right to me. Just things were not sounding right the way he was talking. And then they came and took him away not too long after that. But I kind of resent this because people say, the younger guys really couldn't stand up like the older guys. But my answer to that, 30, 40 years ago, you got 10 years, you got 15 years. Anybody can do that. You do 7, 8 years, you get out on parole, you go back to your life. Today, they hit you with a RICO charge.
Get to 60 years.
You got 20 years right off the bat, no more parole, meaning you're doing 17 and a half minimum. And if you get 20 on a RICO case, you're lucky. I was facing 150 years.
Wow.
And they would have gave me every bit of it. Because when I was in MDC, I'm watching these guys going to trial, Mike. they're coming back 300 years, 90 years. I said, man, I'm the youngest guy. They're going to give me 5,000 years here. I'll never get out of jail. But, you know, I took my shot anyhow. I mean, I took a plea and I did my time. But fortunately, I beat him a couple of times, so they wanted a conviction on me. But that's why guys didn't stand up. Nobody stands up. It's very hard. You know one guy that stood up? My dad. My dad, they can give him 5 million years. He's never saying a word to anybody. He was that kind of a guy.